up, everybody? Welcome to IGN Game Scoop. I'm your host, Damon Hatfield. Joining me this week, Justin Davis,
Scoop,
Marty Sleva,
hey,
Jared Petty.
Howdy.
Got a great show for you this week. I'm going to test your knowledge of classic arcade games. We're going to talk about some Nintendo stuff. But first, the question I want to start with this week is, have we reached critical mass Assassin's Creed?
Oh, that's so good.
Can we just stop now? Because everything's downhill from here.
So first there was Assassin's Creed, and then we started getting one every year.
Yeah.
Last year we got more than one in a year. We already know we're going to get Assassin's Creed Victory this year, and now they've announced a trilogy of separate 2.5D side-scrolling Assassin's Creed games. Assassin's
If this
Creed
trend continues,
Chronicles. Yeah.
we will have 32 Assassin's Creed games per year by 2019.
In theory, if it keeps growing exponentially, we'll have infinite someday.
Yeah.
So, wait,
No?
how do you reach infinite by exponential growth?
Yeah,
Do
that's
you
not
know?
actually true at all.
All right, mathematicians.
You screwed up. You screwed up your math,
All right, nerds. All right, Socrates.
Maybe it'll be like old calculators. Eventually, there's so long a number you just get an E at the end.
There you go.
When it fills up.
So Assassin's Creed.
What's your read on Assassin's Creed Chronicles?
Yeah, so it's a trilogy divided into 3 parts: China, India,
That's
and
what
Russia.
trilogies are. Yeah.
You know what, guys? F off! I'm describing the trilogy. So China, India, and Russia. The Russia one seems really cool because it takes place in during Red October, the early 1900s. The art style of each one is a little bit different. We're seeing it here. China has a very painterly, brushstroke look. India is very colorful.
They announced the China one before. This is the one that we saw last year.
A couple
Yeah.
months ago they announced that's happening. Now,
And so I got to play the game for a couple hours, and I like it.
The China one?
Yeah, the China one, and then one level of the India one. And it plays a lot like Mark of the Ninja, which I think is a really good thing. It didn't feel quite as good as Mark of the Ninja, which isn't awful because Mark of the Ninja is just the best.
Yeah.
It's fun. The sort of the core tenets of 3D Assassin's Creed translate really well into 2D.
There's been 2D Assassin's Creeds before. There was Altair's
on DS?
Chronicles, I think
Yeah,
it was
I
on
think
the
it was a
DS.
DS game, yeah.
It was on the DS, and I mean there was even mobile phone ones, but they were, not even made by Ubisoft.
Why don't they make
proper, so-
landline games? Make mobile phone games. What about home phone games?
Just like
They did those.
tone games?
seriously underrepresented market.
Well, there was a time that was a big deal. They just don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
They used to.
Why don't they do that?
It does happen.
Let's bring them back.
Yeah, just bring back Simon.
They have
Yeah.
14.4 modems.
Anyway, these are being developed by Climax Studios, the house that handled the PS3 and Vita versions of Resogun and the PS4 and Vita versions of Dead Nation. And they did that new Rocket Knight Adventures game in 2010.
I never played that one.
Okay. Now I did play that and liked
it was
it.
good.
Rocket Knight was fun.
Yeah, I was. I got to talk to some of the developers too, and they had a really interesting, sort of outlook on the series and wanting to do it 2D and sort of wanting to pare down the series and make a sort of simpler experience. And the stories, if you are a big fan of the lore, the 3 lead characters are all from various Assassin's Creed comics and short films. So these are all characters that are already in the universe.
Yeah, it seems like Ubisoft's getting a little bit more serious about tightening up the lore of those Assassin's Creed games and not just letting it shoot off in random directions. Like, we had these Assassin's Creed comic books that were in Russia a while back, and now they're sort of bringing them back around and introducing it into the video games.
Yeah, and I mean, that I don't, as of right now, I think that series is still growing. Unity sold really well. We have the movies coming out in a year or two with Michael Fassbender. Where sort of a lot of people are viewing that as that white whale of this finally the video game movie that's not going to just be awful.
I don't know.
Have
they
go
started
back in time
even filming that yet?
I don't think so. I don't think they have a screenplay yet.
Who
needs a screenplay?
Not convinced that's actually ever going to happen.
Ad-lib. My dinner with Andre.
Yeah.
Can you go back to the comparison to Mark of the Ninja for a second?
Nope.
Qualify what was different? Give me an idea of what
I mean, it's very much it's 2D stealth, so a lot of it's cone of vision, a lot of it's staying in the shadows. Your characters are very agile, so you are using a grappling hook to climb along the ceiling to stay out of view. It didn't feel quite as tight as Mark of the Ninja. Mark of the Ninja definitely had very much a that arcadey feel to where everything felt very precise, and you felt like you were in full control of your character and all of your various accoutrements. But in this, it felt a little loose. I had a couple unfair deaths.
Well, it wouldn't be Assassin's Creed if your character wasn't zip-zopping all over the place.
It actually reminded me of this older Ubisoft game, Prince of Persia Classic.
Oh man,
there we go.
This was an early Xbox Live Arcade game.
Yeah, I forgot about this one.
Remake of the original Prince of Persia.
This was made by Gameloft, actually.
Was it?
Was it really?
Yeah.
It definitely, the game visually looks a lot like this, but it doesn't feel like Prince of Persia very much had that movement felt like math.
Yeah.
Which was never a fun thing, almost like the
the
original
really
Tomb Raider.
precise animations and sort of that flashback sort of style.
Yeah, and Assassin's Creed definitely feels more arcadey, which I enjoy.
I love that early rotoscoping that made it. I mean, the fact that they were able to do that originally on an Apple II.
So cool, right?
Yeah,
That's just
it's crazy.
amazing. But and it looks so beautiful at the time. Man, it makes the guy a jerk to control sometimes.
The China episode of Assassin's Creed Chronicles is out this month, April 21st.
Yep.
They're going to be $10, but you get them free with the Unity Season Pass, or just the first.
I think you just get the
Just
first
the
one
first one.
free
Okay.
with
Yeah.
the pass, and then the India and Russia are going to be doled out, I think, throughout the course of the year.
I think rolling them up in like a Chronicles type pack is kind of smart. It's like I don't know what the process was like within Ubisoft, but it sort of seems like they had this China 2D game, didn't quite know what to do with it, sort of tossed it into the Unity Season Pass, and then they said, well, let's sort of flesh this out and take this, explore sort of 3 different time periods and 3 different protagonists.
Yep.
And
I'm a big fan of taking sort of established franchises and shaking it up a little bit with
Yeah.
these offshoots. Stuff like Blood Dragon, 2D versions of traditionally 3D
Yeah,
franchises.
I'm with Marty on this. I mean, Assassin's Creed 4 was so very different than the first 3 anyway. It almost
so
felt
very
more like,
awesome.
Yeah, it felt like exactly. It felt more like Sid Meier's Pirates in some ways than an Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
But that was a very good thing.
Totally.
This
Yeah.
is
It
it might be because
journey in a
it
different direction.
started a bunch of pirates.
But there was that, and
It started. It started.
lots of pirates, not ice pirates.
It's also
but not space pirates.
it's weird because we all grew up
Ice pirates.
watching. Are those real things? Ice pirates?
yeah.
Are they just,
Finally.
is that just
real-
Are
Vikings?
they just cold pirates?
You haven't seen the classic 80s film Ice Pirates.
I haven't.
You
Space herpes?
should- yeah.
No,
you should definitely watch
space
it.
herpes.
Space herpes.
No, it's weird that we obviously growing up with we've seen series like all the Nintendo series have transitioned from 2D to 3D, stuff like Castlevania, Mega Man, and some for better or for worse. But it's weird to see a series that started in 3D go back to 2D. We don't get that very often.
Yeah.
There's been a Capcom did that with they had Dark Void, then they had Dark Void Zero, which was
Yeah,
like
that's right.
their
And then Dark Void Zero ended up being a lot better.
yeah. Dark
Yeah.
Void was like this sort of so game, and Dark Void Zero is kind of awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, so we talk a lot about how Assassin's Creed has its ups and downs from year to year. I wasn't really into Unity last year. Victory doesn't sound terribly exciting to me.
Yeah.
So I'm actually more excited for these games than I am for like the next
Yeah.
big.
I mean, Ubisoft
Assassin's
has to
Creed
be
right now. as of right now.
incredibly motivated to make sure that Victory delivers. Right?
Yeah, I'm excited to hear more of that and actually get confirmation that that's a real thing, even though it's pretty much a real thing.
What I was noticing a lot of gamers saying is that they're disappointed they're visiting these locales in these spin-off games instead of the mainline.
Yeah.
People have been asking for an Asian
Yeah.
set Assassin's Creed for so long, and they're
Yeah.
like, now you're getting it in this 2.5D spin-off.
I mean, I feel like Japan has been that so like holy grail people have been asking for
Yeah.
since AC2, and there've been teases at it.
Yeah.
The birthplace of the ninja does seem a logical place for an
For
Assassin's
an Assassin's Creed game, yeah.
Yeah.
It's also
One might
funny
think.
because in theory, the one that takes place in the early 1900s, the Russian one, is the farthest ahead
Yeah, by far.
an assassin has been in the series. Like aside from Unity's weird time warp things.
Yeah. Doing this thing in Chronicles doesn't preclude them from doing, Samurai Japan at all in the future. So,
Sure, because this is China, that's Japan. They're 2 entirely different cultures. You can do a lot of different things.
yeah.
One's
Also-
an island and one isn't.
Yeah.
Oh, fun fact.
I also
Marty's
really,
fun facts.
I want to see somebody make
Smarty Sleva.
I want to see somebody make a Batman game like this. Please just do it.
They tried to. That
yeah.
Arkham game that
Didn't
was
they do
awful.
one?
Yeah, but give it
Well, it
to
wasn't awful,
give it to
but-
Clay and let them do it, and then it'll be
Well, yeah.
Give everything to Clay.
Developers of Mark of the Ninja.
Yeah.
The first Chronicle set in China is out on April 21st this month. So are you going to review that?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Probably.
Stay
Sure.
tuned.
Stay tuned to see if I review it.
All right, now I'm going to see if you can name these classic arcade games by their sound.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
We're
fun.
completely switching gears here.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. There we are.
Yep.
We usually save the little fun
But
game.
I was so excited to
Yep.
do this.
Just a
I
quick jab, right there.
moved up to the front.
Do we have
Now,
a name? Do we have a name for this?
Name that tune.
No, I don't think.
Name that game. I don't know. We'll think about it.
Okay.
But can you see my monitor here, Justin? I don't want you looking.
Okay, I don't
Just
want
don't
you-
look.
I don't want you-
Okay, come cuddle.
Here we go.
So I've got
Cuddle.
10. I've got 10
I
different.
Too much? Is this too much?
I went actually captured my own field recordings in the IGN lunchroom of the actual arcade games on my phone.
Oh, wait, so you went to the big emulation machine and just grabbed
Yeah.
a bunch of these. Okay.
Yeah.
Is one really that Walking Dead pinball game that just sounds like a dog being killed?
So we've got 10 of these. We'll play these over the speakers in here, and so
Jared's just gonna get them all.
I don't know. I'm kind of terrified here. What if I fail?
when we did the can you recognize the video game characters by their eyes? some of the viewers were disappointed that you guessed it so fast before they had a chance to think about it. So if you know it right away, wait a second.
Should we raise our hands?
We just have like a little dead air here for a minute.
Yeah. So here's the first one. You got this one?
This is super familiar.
Yeah.
NFL Blitz.
No. I know this game. Sam Claiborne is screaming. Right
Ding
now.
dong.
I'm getting fired at the moment.
Ding dong.
That's a big hint right there, actually.
I know this game. No,
Oh,
it's Burger Time.
Burger time. Also, you're still sitting really close
I
to me.
can't see. He's got it on his monitor.
But just don't look at the monitor.
What do you want? Am I too close to
Damon,
you?
he's sitting really close to me.
What's the
It's
problem?
okay. He's just trying to.
I'm not even touching you.
He's trying not to spoil.
I'm getting all hot
All right, so
and
yes,
bothered.
that one was Burger Time.
Not like Burger Time's a good game, but I don't play it very much. I feel like I'm going to
I think the music is
You're on
very.
camera. You can't. There's nothing you can do.
All right, here's the second one. You ready for this? Here we go. Yes.
Was that?
Yeah, that was way too fast.
That's too fast.
That one is Galaga. Let's see what our
Galaga.
next one is.
I love that you just captured these yourself.
Yeah.
Here
we go.
Oh, that's Gyrus, right? No, that's not Gyrus. It's not Gyrus.
Ghosts and Goblins.
That should be a hint.
Donkey Kong?
I thought that was
Junior?
Gyrus.
Yes, that one's Donkey Kong Jr.
Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Doesn't Gyrus play the same piece of music at the beginning?
Gyrus isn't even a real game, Jared.
That's a real game.
You're just
There's
making up words.
Maybe hidden in here somewhere, so I don't want to comment on
Oh,
this right
okay.
You're.
I bet this next one's Gyrus.
We've each gotten one.
Here we
which
go.
is fine.
Really?
Yep.
Tapper.
No, that's Arkanoid.
That one is Arkanoid.
Avoid the Noid. Remember the Noid?
Playing that in
Yo-Noid.
Santa
Yeah.
Cruz last week.
All right, here's the next one. This is kind of more of a deep cut.
Uh-oh. I bet you're a car in this game.
I was
Or
gonna
a
say
man
the
who's
same
driving
thing.
a car. That sounds like a car engine.
I played
Is it a car game?
Not a car game.
So I thought it was a car game
It's
too.
a vehicle game.
Yeah.
Ooh, someone with a helicopter.
Boat.
Is this
Chopper, rescue
Scramble?
chopper.
Is this
That one,
Scramble?
nope. That one is Xevious.
Oh, man, I am.
Yeah.
That's
Oh.
devious.
I should put out the box art for these games here. A lot of people probably don't even know what Xevious is.
I feel as if I'm standing before the throne of judgment and like failing in the eyes of God. This,
right.
This is the first one we've missed.
This is number 6. The 6th one.
Oh, yeah, that's Ding Dong. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, okay. You're correct, but let's give the listeners a couple more
It's funny how
seconds.
much of this that sounds just like the Mario song. Like the start. Yeah.
All right, number 7.
Oh, yeah.
This just sounds like hot trash.
Oh, this is Space Invaders.
Yeah. That's why it sounds so.
Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Okay, number 8. Here we go.
Oh, look, Gyrus.
Wait, can you go back to the beginning of this one? Because I think I can hear people in the background.
Can you hear Marty shouting probably from somewhere else in the office?
Oh no, those weren't people. Those are just spooky noises.
Spooky
So
noises.
now, if we go back to Donkey Kong Jr. Yeah, so they did use the same
Oh man.
Oh, man.
the same tune.
I feel as if I was bamboozled.
All right, just 2 left.
I'm gonna get
Number
this
9.
I played this.
Sound effects should be it.
Yeah, that should
Tron?
Oh, I know this. I've played this a million times. Dun, 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 dun. Ah! I can see it right
watching
here.
Just
Jared
his
go
head
mad.
explodes.
No, that's 1942.
Yep. Correct.
Why are the sound effects a hit?
I own one of
sound like
those. Why did it take
planes.
so long?
Sounds like World War II.
It is. Well, it is World War II. Yeah.
All right, last one. Here we go.
Oh, Centipede. Oh, and I did it again. I'm just so excited. Marty, I failed this all.
Thank you for playing, everyone.
Definitely failed the audience.
If you got them all right, you're a video game whiz.
If you got
5 to 7 right, you're pretty clever.
Did you copy this off a Cracker Barrel puzzle?
If you got 2 of them right before Jared yelled them out, then you are a time traveler.
Yeah, it's true.
That was good. That was a fun segment.
Okay. Let's check in with the listeners.
Hey, listeners.
Hey, listeners.
Listeners, you can always reach us at the email address, gamescoop@ign.com, just like Big Tony Style
Big Tony style.
Big Tony Style says, one of the biggest talking points each year when E3 rolls around is who actually wins the show. With the announcement that Zelda U won't make an appearance at E3 this year, dig the big in, just secure a loss at this year's E3. What game or surprise would they have to show to make up for a Zelda no-show?
Oh, goodness gracious.
So, I guess I should say this broke last week, and we didn't get to talk about it last week. I was not so disappointed in the delay of Zelda to next year. That's not terribly surprising, and whatever, they can take all the time they want.
Totally.
Sure. Disappointed that they're not even going to show it at E3.
Yeah, disappointed that there's not going to be like a rad trailer or a gameplay demo
Show
or
us
like, hey, here's
something.
a dungeon. Yeah.
Here's a boss.
Yeah,
Show us
exactly.
something. A new weapon, a new item. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be easy to please on this one. As long as they bring Star Fox and let me play with it, I'll still be okay. I want to play Star Fox. I am almost as excited about that as I am about a new Zelda. And
Whoa.
Yeah, I really enjoy Star Fox games.
Yeah.
The good ones, anyway.
So do I. I think, I mean, I imagine we'll have to be seeing Star Fox because that's probably going to be their fall game. Although, I mean, we're talking like, I could see them announcing a Mario game of some sorts. Maybe like not the next traditional 3D like Mario game, but maybe like Mario 3D World 2. Because when Mario 3D World was announced at E3, it came out that fall.
But
So
we're not talking about what we think they're going to announce.
Yeah.
We're talking about what do they need
what do
to
they
do
need to make
save
up for the gaping hole?
I mean, there's nothing. I don't think there's anything like.
Super Mario Galaxy 3 appears
That's exactly
from nowhere.
what I was going to say. The
You know?
answer needs to be the next,
No way.
Yeah, I
the
know.
next big 3D Zelda.
No way that
Then, like,
happens.
Then Big Tony Style may be honest with it, and like, it totally takes the wind out of their sails going into E3, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be super pumped to see the next big 3D Mario. I mean, people give Nintendo a hard time for just doing Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Kirby, like the same games over and over again. But what people miss is that they reinvent those games. Like Mario Galaxy was really, really different than Sunshine and Mario 64, which were radically different than the 2D games. So we're due to see like the future of Mario. Like they sort of did 3D Land and 3D World, which was sort of a marrying of the Galaxy style and the old 2D style.
Civil Union.
Civil union of those two styles,
Yeah.
and now it's time to see what's new for Mario. And I'd love for them to surprise and delight us with, their vision for what Mario looks like post Mario
I
Galaxy.
bet we'll be seeing Mario Sunshine for new 3DS.
Well,
I think
we're-
we'll see Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 HD if we're talking about what we really will see.
Now, while we're talking about the 3DS, if we could go into Wishland, I think a 2D Metroid on 3DS would go a long way toward suddenly evoking goodwill, but I don't think I'm going to see it.
2D Metroid with crossplay across Wii U and 3DS. New Smash DLC. New 3D Mario. That could save the show for them.
Yeah. I have a feeling we'll be seeing a lot of HD remasters, that kind of thing, ports to new 3DS. Man, I mean, the thing that they could announce that would, like, relight everyone's fire would be something like a real 3D Pokemon game for Wii U, which isn't going to happen, but that'd be amazing. That's the thing we've wanted for 10 years.
And they
Playing
have
footsie down here.
pulled big secrets on it. Again, they're pretty good at keeping a wrap over things. You remember, we're sitting there in the Vitality Sensor press conference, and that's going on, and then suddenly, and by the way, a new Metroid by Team Ninja! And we're just like, we turned out to be terrible. But when we heard the news,
It was an exciting announcement.
so something like that.
Yeah.
Also, LOL, the Vitality Sensor.
I bet we'll be seeing a lot more Mario Maker.
Yep.
I think that
It's
game's
out.
bigger than we think.
Yeah, it's out.
It's gonna be a big deal. I want them to bring back stuff that they've just been sitting on. I want them to bring back F-Zero.
Yeah.
Let Sega make it again. F-Zero GX was so good.
I'd love a new F-Zero game. I'm with you there. That'd be
So
wonderful.
good.
Yeah, I say that a lot.
No, that's okay. That's because you're passionate.
Thanks.
You have a child.
I'm a Pisces. Are they the passionate ones? I don't know. I'm an Aquarius.
Damon, get us
That was a
outta
lie.
Moving on, this is Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Candid Jeff
Candid Jeff?
with a K.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is he Mortal Candid?
Candid Jeff. He says, love the show.
Oh.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks for looking at my question. The Zelda delay, as well as the recent release of Majora's Mask on 3DS, has had the big end. This is two guys in a row. The
big end!
My favorite absolute game series on my mind a lot today. I have to give it to Nintendo. They've been giving Zelda fans plenty of love lately. A Link Between Worlds was awesome, and I'm currently playing through Majora's Mask, which is just as great as when it was released in 2000.
Totally.
My question is this: considering the love people have for Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, as well as the general positive reception of A Link Between Worlds, do you think we'll ever see another direct sequel to Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, which uses the same art style and maybe a similar engine as those two games, similar to how A Link Between Worlds was a sequel to A Link Between Pasts? A Link to the
Interesting.
Past.
I mean, now would be the time to do it, right? Make it for 3DS, a new original Zelda on 3DS that follows the art style. You know, maybe it follows even that same Link's storyline.
Yeah. I mean, that whole storyline thing is like a weird hodgepodge because that timeline is super confusing. I don't know what's going on with that timeline.
I mean, they
like that game.
totally have a handle on that tech, right? And getting it running on 3DS and have all those assets. I mean, Majora's Mask was developed in a year because it just remixed, you know, as the Mask Salesman and all
Yeah,
the same
totally.
character models and all the same everything from Ocarina of Time. So if they just did, you know, new puzzles, new dungeon, new story, you know, using those existing assets.
Would you rather have it in a 3D view like this or like more of like the traditional, like Link Between Worlds?
Well, Link
I mean,
Between
we're talking
Worlds
about
is-
this a
We're
sequel.
talking
to
about a
Ocarina,
direct
right?
sequel
Yeah.
to this, so
I'd
Yeah, I would
rather
play
have
the
it in
crap
this
out of
style
that.
just because Link Between Worlds was, despite being a simply wonderful game, kind of ugly.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about the art style.
I agree.
And
change a little
that doesn't take much away from it
well,
because it's so.
but speaking of
good.
like I'm not super crazy. Like this doesn't look that
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, especially blown up on a TV.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
looks better on.
I mean, I also
3DS.
think I don't think Ocarina of Time is the best Zelda. I like Wind Waker the most. But Ocarina of Time, in my
That's what I was
opinion,
gonna say. If we're asking for direct sequels to Zeldas, can we get a direct sequel to Wind Waker?
Totally, that art style.
well, we got those on the DS.
No one wants those.
I know.
we had
Really
a.
consider
yeah,
direct
Choo-Choo-
sequels to that game?
Well, they're,
Choo-choo
they're
train
story
or-
sequels.
Okay.
I love. We had a 7-year-old visit IGN earlier this week, and I asked him what his favorite video game was, and he said Zelda, and I said which one? And he's like, the one with the boats in the oceans, and
Yeah.
that's what he remembered
No,
about
the
it.
sense
I
of
love that.
exploration is so great. I mean, I think. What was I saying? Oh, so even though Ocarina isn't my favorite, I definitely think it's the one people have the most nostalgia for. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
When
Yeah.
people think about like Zelda and classic Zelda, that seems to be the one that comes up over and over and over again. That was like the big
I mean, yeah,
landmark.
that and Mario 64 were those benchmarks, like the passing of the torch from 2D to 3D.
Yeah.
And you think about the Wii Zelda, which is really just Ocarina of Time remastered. I'm okay with that too. Just
Twilight Princess?
Twilight
Yeah.
Princess was a
Yeah.
wonderful game.
I mean, that's the thing. It's also kind of like a direct sequel to that game. Is like, well, all the Zelda games have been like that in gameplay, just not in story. Like they've continued to refine what 3D Zelda means and
Yeah.
the complexity and depth of those 3D dungeons. So it would maybe feel a little bit weird to go back.
Do you guys think with this delay of the Zelda for Wii U that this game is going to do what Twilight Princess did and launch on both Wii U as well as like a launch game for NX?
Yeah,
I
I
think
do.
that would really depend on what the NX hardware is built on. I mean, they've gotten away with 3 generations of fairly similar internal hardware. I think it's going to have a lot to do with whether or not they can pull it off with whatever they're putting in the next generation rig. If the NX can either emulate or through its software simulate that old architecture, then yes.
Or stimulate.
But when they went from GameCube to Wii, they were able to pull that off.
Yeah.
It would be harder if they're making some kind of architectural leap to a new chipset to pull that.
Totally.
Jeff says, I'd personally love to see this, a direct sequel to Ocarina of Time. But to be honest, I'll probably buy and play any Zelda game that Nintendo releases.
Sure.
Wonder if we got
Usually
that.
pretty good.
Wonder if we got that Hyrule Warriors.
Oh, there is that.
Link's crossbow training.
I don't know what that noise is.
This is Anthony Gomez.
Hey, Anthony.
He says, I've tried to dabble into the Souls series in the past, based off recommendation. Admittedly, the game never really appealed to me, which was confirmed when I tried Dark Souls. I just found the game too slow and obtuse. When Bloodborne was announced, I thought the look and setting looked really interesting, but then I learned that it was going to be a Souls-like game. So I never...
Souls-like. That's really good. I've never heard that before.
I never gave the game much thought until one day a demo came out for the 3DS called Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate.
Monton.
I ended up purchasing the game, and I had one of my most satisfying experiences in gaming ever after I defeated a giant monster after a long, exhausting battle. I was hooked. Since then, I started watching more coverage of Bloodborne, and I realized that the combat in the two games is very similar.
Yep.
While both are technically action games, a great deal of patience is required in order to succeed, including observing your enemy closely, knowing precisely when and how to strike, and when to stop attacking before your adversary goes back on the offensive. So, I purchased Bloodborne, and I believe that thanks to the training from Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, it didn't take too long for this game to click, and I'm once again finding the satisfaction and relief after defeating a monstrosity that upon first viewing, I thought was impossible to beat. Have you guys had similar experiences where a seemingly unrelated game unexpectedly prepared you for another?
An astute observation by this young man, and yes, because I had exactly the same experience.
With Monster Hunter and
For Monster
Bloodborne?
Hunter.
Are you
going
Anthony
over-
Gomez?
Why, yes. Yes, I am.
I like how you called him a young man. What if he's 114?
Yeah, you don't know.
What if he's some sort of
He would be officially the oldest Game Scoop fan.
What if he's like an alchemist or a
Who is
pilgrim?
the oldest Game Scoop fan, I wonder?
Not sure.
Can we like go visit them?
Ronald
Like,
Reagan.
Could we go like Willard Scott to their
There's
house and like wish them like a
There's
happy
an
birthday?
older gentleman that follows a bunch of us on Twitter, and he looks like he's in his 60s. And he's
Okay.
like really nice and very positive,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think he's the best.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah.
Is he Richard Garriott?
No, I don't think so. Anyway, so you had the same experience with Monster Hunter.
Yeah, Monster Hunter to Souls.
Like,
Absolutely.
I've never played a Monster Hunter game, but I keep hearing people talk about this game. And
You can go the other way, too, I
I'm
think.
interested in it.
Yeah,
it sounds fun. I don't know.
It's all about it's about those timed animations. Once you're in an animation, you're committed, and both Monster Hunter and Souls works that way. It's about fighting really big things with complicated tells that act in, you've got to figure out the pattern, but then you got to figure out how it adapts the pattern when you're partway through the fight. They're very similar in that regard.
Yeah, I think I love the Souls series and Bloodborne. I haven't really played a lot of Monster Hunter. I'm not a huge online gamer. I don't like playing with other people.
Yeah.
I don't like talking to other people.
Nope.
I don't even know why I'm on the show. No, but in terms of games that prepare me for other things, mine are sort of dumb answers, but stuff like sort of being a big fan of any Metroidvania means jumping into the next one. Like I reviewed Axiom Verge, and the fact that I'd played, Super Metroid and Guacamelee and all the, Symphony of the Night and all the GBA Castlevania games means I sort of understand like the grammar of those games and understand what they're going for.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. Different game genres totally have like a grammar about them, especially when one game comes out. After Call of Duty became a worldwide phenomenon, every shooter had Call of Duty controls. You could pick up any first-person shooter and, be aiming down the sights and lobbing grenades and, usually crouching, sprinting, and it's all mapped. They just copied those controls one for one, more or less. And then it got to the point where I didn't even play that much Call of Duty, but anytime I picked up a shooter, that's how it played. That when I went back to Halo, which is different, it was like hard for me. I had to like retrain my brain.
Games like Halo, how Halo has like rechargeable shields. How Halo doesn't. You can't aim down.
There's no aim down sights, no sprint in the earlier Halo games. Like when I picked up Master Chief Collection, that was the first Halo game I'd played in a long time, and I had to adjust back to the old way of thinking and doing things. So. And Metroidvanias are probably a good example of that as well.
Yeah. Real-time strategy games, same way. You're pretty much at this point playing the same game.
Yeah, real-time strategy games. Or I'm playing Pillars of Eternity right now, and like I don't need to be told, or RTS is a better example to like a move to attack with groups of enemies. That's the same across all the games.
Yeah.
But,
It's funny how we take certain things for granted though, because like a lot of times, like it's just like, well, this is how you do things in a game. But if you put a controller in someone's hand, like I had someone play through PT who's not really doesn't really play a lot of games, especially hasn't played a lot of first-person games, and like couldn't really wrap their head around 2 analog sticks.
Yeah.
Like how does this control a person?
Yeah.
My dad stopped playing video games after the Atari 2600 era because he couldn't handle 2 face buttons. Like one fire button and a stick.
Yeah.
That was great.
enough.
He played a lot of video games. When I got my NES, he just couldn't do it. He's just like, nope, too confusing. Run and jump, can't. It's too much work, he said.
What about Steel Battalion?
No, we never tried Steel Battalion together.
I actually had to train my wife to use 2 analog sticks, and I did it using Geometry Wars. Like we did it in a 2D setting, and then I graduated her to like a 3D setting.
Interesting.
Did
you give her like a diploma?
I was giving her giving her positive reinforcement with treats and candies every time she would do something right.
Pavlovian responses.
No, but you mentioned it's really interesting playing video games with someone that doesn't play a lot of them. My wife was playing some game, and she's like, I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do, and I just happened to like walk in the room, and I'm like, you need to go to the left. And she's like, you just walked in the room, how do you know that? And I'm like, I don't know, I just do. I've played a lot of video games, and I can tell just by the way the game's designed.
The light's over there, and you're always being pushed towards the light.
I'm like, whatever, because it's
Right.
bright, and she's always trying to do things like walk through doors that aren't doors.
Oh, that's
And
great.
I'm like, that's not a door. You can't go in there. She's like, how do you know that's not a door? Because I can tell.
You can just look at it. That thing is not animating. That thing is not opening.
For more on this topic, play the Stanley Parable. And just play the Stanley Parable anyway, because it's wonderful. But that's kind of what that game's about, is what we're talking about here. I'll never forget, I used to teach computer classes to senior citizens. And we were teaching them to use mice one night. And they're sitting there, I would say, use the mouse to move the arrow, to point at what you want to touch, and then click. And most of the people were getting it pretty quickly. But one lady, I remember picking her mouse up and rolling it on the screen, on the monitor, and clicking on top of it, because that made sense to her. And why shouldn't it? If you'd never seen it before, why would, Montgomery Scott in Star Trek 4, hello, computer. Why not? So maybe we can learn something from that. Maybe stretching our brains outside what we're used to would be good for us. Bring some more non-gamers in and have them try to go through doors that don't open.
Well, that's why smartphone gaming has exploded, right?
Yeah,
everybody
everything's so
gets
intuitive.
just touching
Totally.
things.
That's why kids can play it, and 115-year-old wizards can play it.
I was going to say I've been playing a lot of Darkest Dungeon, which is a roguelike, and last year I played a lot of Spelunky. So maybe that sort of got me in the mood and got me ready to temper my expectations.
Yeah.
for,
Randomly
another
generated
roguelike.
challenges. I actually don't. A lot of people refer to Darkest Dungeon as a roguelike. I kind of don't know that it adheres to the traditional. It's randomly generated and it's got permadeath, so I guess it's a roguelike in that sense. But it's party based. There's a lot of things that make it not really a roguelike. So
It's roguelike.
There are
It's roguelike-like. To
There
see
are
the-
party-based roguelikes. Sharon the Wanderer does it, but there's not that many.
Sure. I mean, but
Sure.
that expansion of roguelike elements
Yeah.
of it's borrowing different elements from different games. Randomly generated dungeons and permadeath. Is that all it takes to be sort of considered a roguelike? I don't know.
I think
Food
so.
meter.
You mentioning Darkest Dungeon makes me want that game on iOS. I want to play that game
I
on
mean,
iPad.
surely they're
It
working
has-
on that.
yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
I want to lay under the covers. I want to have cocoa. I want to play that. Yeah.
Drink in bed. You'd spill.
I have a lot of spills in my bed.
I don't think you drink
gross.
cocoa in
That's
bed. Is it cocoa you're drinking in bed?
I don't think I've had cocoa in a while. Cocoa and schnapps.
You know, it's a really good roguelike. Maybe underappreciated. Chocobo's Dungeon.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I like Chocobo Dungeon, although I wish the characters would all shut up. I really like the game, but when anyone talks, I get angry.
You don't want to be talked at in
Oh,
games
we're back to
anyway.
that again. Yeah, I'm sorry.
We underrated roguelike is Risk of Rain on PC.
Risk
It's really
of
good.
Rain. I haven't played that one.
Sheeran on DS, of course, but also on Wii. Very good.
Well, isn't there the new Etron Odyssey?
Yeah,
Is that a
yeah.
Sheeran game? Or
It's Etron Mystery Dungeon,
Etron
so
Mystery
it's not really. It's but the people who make Sheeran Chunsoft's design team, but it's with Etron Odyssey.
Is Sheeran the
elements.
first person?
No, Sheeran is third person. It's top down. It was originally a Super Famicom game, and then Chunsoft and Sega ported it to DS. And if you're going to do a gateway drug for roguelikes, that's the one to play. It's an old. It's not a 3DS game. It's a DS game, but it's truly wonderful.
What was the PS2 Namco one? The Tower of Druaga. It was they did a roguelike
Is that a
Druaga
roguelike?
game.
Oh, a roguelike Druaga.
they did a roguelike, and I've
The
never.
original
played it.
Tower of Druaga is an arcade game.
It might not
Yeah.
be Tower of Druaga, but
I think it was actually. I think
Armored
you're right
Core?
about that.
it's that Armored Core.
Yeah.
No, Tower of Druaga is just an obtuse, evil arcade game, but I think I know the one you're talking about, and I think it was a Druaga series game.
Okay.
Finally this week, Justin,
Uh-oh.
have I got an update for you?
Oh my goodness gracious! Lay it on me.
This is Stefan.
Okay.
Says, I'm a longtime GameScoop viewer.
I'm excited.
As such, I watched the segment, How to Find Gaming Friends as an Adult. I have a solution for my brother in name, Steve. Steve, who's originally wrote in the question,
Hi,
asking how to find gaming friends as an adult.
Was that his actual brother, or is he using
No.
brother in like the grandson?
Says,
Yeah.
says my brother in name.
Oh,
Like Brother in Christ type thing. You
Yeah.
know, that whole thing.
Stefan says, to make it short, I shamelessly stole your great idea for the Platonic site. So platonic.us is now a thing. He actually made the
I don't know
site
what's
here.
happening.
What's happening here?
Were you not on that
I
GameScoop?
don't think so.
No.
Here it is.
Maybe I had a fever.
Wow. He did it.
Yep.
He made it happen?
He actually made the site.
Wait,
That's amazing.
refresh. Not refresh the page. Refresh me. What's happening?
Game
Right
So
now?
we were talking about, someone wrote in and said, I'm an adult, I'm in my 40s, and I don't really have any friends to play video
Totally.
games with. What do you recommend? And I said, they should make a service called Platonic.
That's really good.
I know.
That's
Took
really
it.
great.
Yeah.
And I was making his millions.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this.
Well, you didn't jump on, you being like the domain squatter should have
Yeah.
dumped on that right away.
I did own dwarffortress.com
says-
for many years.
Platonic.com is already taken. While me and my friends work on acquiring that, it's going to be tough because Platonic is the guys that are making the new Banjo-Kazooie successor.
Yeah, good
Oh,
The name
yeah,
of that
Project
development,
Ukulele. Yeah.
So we also work on our new site, platonic.us. It's already up and running, although still in beta. We are already looking for some beta testers and first users for the site.
Oh, man.
We've already created a classic dating site once, and my friends and me are
Wow.
pretty knowledgeable in running such a thing and are optimistic to make this big.
That's awesome.
What's a classic dating
Did
site?
Stefan make eHarmony?
Yeah,
Yeah.
plenty of fish.
It's just lunch. He made
It's
that.
just lunch.
I mostly wanted to let you know that we did this and are running this service now. It's completely free, of course, and if you want to do us a big favor, check it out. Mention it on your show sometime.
very cool.
Thanks for being awesome and for giving us this awesome idea.
Marty, if you
Justin.
like other people, this would be great for you. That would be
If I
amazing.
didn't hate everyone, this would be great.
No,
Another-
you have my blessing, Stefan, until it becomes big and successful, then I'm super mad. Then I'm coming after you.
Yeah, so
you can't-
platonic.us is up and running. We did it. There's a people search. I'm not sure. I guess you create a
Profile?
profile and then Can you search for like games that people play? I don't know.
Another thing I suggest is joining.
groups.
We have a bunch of Facebook groups. We have a Podcast Beyond Facebook group. We have a Podcast Unlocked Facebook group. We have an NBC one, and so
Tech fetish.
we have tech. Well, I'm just saying. So if you own a PS4, if you own an Xbox One, join those groups. The people in there are really cool, and that's how you share your gamer tag. You'll have a bunch of friends, whoever's playing the same games.
That's a great suggestion. Those are some really spiffy communities.
Or just go to a bar and walk up to someone and say, "What's your tag?"
Yo, you play
Yo.
that Bloodborne?
Yeah,
Tag me.
tag me, add me on Friendster. Don't do that.
Bevo.
Anyway, Justin, I'm sorry you missed your opportunity.
Yeah.
To strike it rich.
That was
with
going to be my
Playtime.
gravy train.
Yeah.
Whole train of gravy.
I think that is all the scoops we have for you this week. Remember, you can always reach us at the email address gamescoop@ign.com. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Marty. Thank you, Jared. Everybody, hopefully you have a nice long holiday weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Play lots of fun games. My name is Damon. This is IGN Gamescoop, and we're out.